a statement that was released yesterday from a group of organizations under the Progressive Caucus. This is a group of political parties, including the EFF, the ATM, I understand, is part of it, the UAT as well. They had promised us a briefing on what they make of the ongoing developments. In fact, I understand Vuyo Zungula is speaking as part of that briefing. Let's listen in.
With some of the programs or some of the suggestions by the ANC have been excluded. So that is why we thought we need to speak to the nation. This morning, the ANC sent the guideline document to Al-Jama individually and other parties which were part of the initial discussions with the ANC have never received that particular document. Again, which clearly shows that the intention of the ANC, it is not to have a GNU that is inclusive of all 18 political parties, but it is their intention is to get into a coalition with their preferred coalition partners. So I think we can just give it to the leaders to also state from their point of view. Otherwise, the intention of this media briefing, it is to just make the South African citizens know there is no GNU in our country. We've got a coalition of the party that got 40% with their preferred coalition partners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So what we'll do, let's give each party an opportunity to say something, then we'll take some questions after each party has said something. Let's start with the UDM. General, do you have a mic here?
Is it necessary that we must all speak? So, from our side, we feel that we must be given an opportunity once more to look into this document which has been circulated this morning. And in line with our resolution of yesterday evening, from now on we will want to negotiate en bloc representing this forum. So the ball is in the ANC's court to respond to our request to meet them. We will address the rest after they have formally responded to our letter. Thank you.
The President of UAT, we do have an extra mic here. I'll take this.
Good morning again. As you all heard last night that the Secretary of the ANC indicated that they will be speaking to the UAT. I can confirm they haven't spoken to us. And even if they wanted to speak to us, we wouldn't speak to them as an individual or as a UAT. We'll speak to them as collective, because as collective we are about 13%. It's a fact that the ANC are 40%, they need 11. And we have 13 here. If they were really progressive and respect the programs of Africans, they will definitely give us an ear, because there is no way we can reverse our gains by voting with the DA and others. So this is our position. We are waiting for them as collective, not as UAT.
Thank you. And then the President for PAC.
Thank you. We, as PAC, we insist that the ANC must meet with us as these parties. They must not talk to us as individuals. Anyway, ANC called me yesterday and they said after 5 we'll share a statement with you before we publish it. And I said, okay, I'll wait till now. That was before parties met here. They did not share that statement. So they must meet with us. We don't have a problem with Government of National Unity, but the Government of National Unity must involve everybody, as the name suggests. Asingobakhapi emtshatweni we-ANC ne-DA.
Thank you very much, Hanif Hendricks from Al-Jama. When we had our negotiations with the ANC, we made it clear that the voters gave the ANC a mandate to form a minority government, and that it was easy for them to get the other 10% from other progressive parties. So Al-Jamaa is part of the Progressive Caucus, which we formed last night. And the Government of National Unity, as you know, we first had a Moonshot Pact, and then they changed the name. And now it is called Government of National Unity. It's all the same thing. So you can't criticize without coming up with an alternative. So we have a Progressive Caucus, and we hope that the ANC will join this Progressive Caucus. And we may have a new name called a National Front. And the National Front is to make sure that those rooted in apartheid principles do not govern. We are very concerned that at this stage, our take is that the ANC want to run the executive, and they want to give the Democratic Alliance and their allies to run parliament. That cannot be. Yes, I did receive the draft only this morning. I haven't had a chance to read it. There's a draft of principles that will govern the Government of National Unity. And I managed just to pick up one clause about sufficient consensus. Last night when we met as the Progressive Caucus, we looked at other alternatives to a sufficient consensus. I think we have written to the ANC to meet, and I hope they will meet us later this morning before we start with the proceedings to elect a speaker.
Thank you. And then the Deputy President of the Economic
No,
Freedom
thank you
Fighters.
very much. We as the Economic Freedom Fighters also want to confirm that we are part of the Progressive Caucus here in the 7th Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. And we collectively are now talking to all the forces to say that let's constitute a progressive government in South Africa instead of collaboration with political parties that, as the Al-Jamaa president is saying, are rooted in colonialism and apartheid and are about protection of white minority interests and privileges. So we have, of course, written collectively to the African National Congress to say we are going to negotiate as a collective, not as individual parties, because they have met us individually and they made a commitment that before Parliament elects the presiding officers and a president, they are going to come back to us individually. And it appears that they have not come back to all of us to say as to what is to be done, how do we proceed moving forward. Our offer still stands that we can constitute Parliament and elect presiding officers and also elect a president as long as we exclude these other forces that represents colonialism and apartheid. And that is our position that we are consolidating and that we're going to negotiate together in terms of how we deal with this question. There seem to be no clarity from their side in terms of what happens. So we wanted to, of course, inform the people of South Africa that the progressive forces are presenting a solid option and alternative as to how we move forward. And the ANC will decide what they want to do. If they want to continue with their grand coalition with the Moonshot Pact, if they want to join the Moonshot Pact, let them go ahead. There will be, of course, consequences. If they want to go ahead with the Moonshot Pact, they can go ahead and do it. But otherwise, the progressive forces are here and ready to constitute a progressive parliament and government that is comprised of all progressive forces. That is where we stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's take a round of questions. Can we get some hands? 1, 2, and we're not going to take many hands because remember we've got swearing in to go. 3, remember your number. 4, 5, 6. Pendu, can you help? Where's Pendu with the... Is Pendu not here? Auntie Spec, can you take it? Oh, okay. Yes, number one. Let's go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Sanda Mbolekwa from the Sunday Times. My question to you this morning is, what do you make of the concept of a government of national unity? What happens to opposition benches if all parties are necessarily sharing power? What do we make of the need for a watchdog if the watchdog is in bed with government? Just your clarity on that, please.
Okay, thank you. Number two, and maybe you just want to, after you introduce yourself, if there's anyone in particular you want to direct your question to, which party, so that'll help us.
Hi, my name is Bulelani from SABC. Firstly, you requested a meeting with the ANC Secretary General for 8 o'clock. Did that meeting happen? Secondly, we are 30 minutes away from the start of the sitting. By the look of things, it would look like that meeting would not happen. What then do you do as the Progressive Caucus? Do you attend or do you stay away? And the last question is that why do you think it is all right that you can dictate who should be part of the government of national unity in terms of the representation, when also on your own you are saying that everybody must be represented, but you also don't want other people to be part and parcel of that GNU? Thanks.
Thank you. Number three, be here in the front.
Morning, everyone. Tabi Sokoba from Eyewitness News. I think my questions are for Mr. Hendricks. Mr. Zungula mentioned that you've received an outline from the ANC of what the GNU is. Can you just maybe just share some of those details, if you don't mind? And since you're here, Mr. Hendricks, does this mean that Al-Jamaa is not going to be joining the GNU if the DA and the Freedom Front Plus are part of it? Thank you.
Thank you. Number four.
Sorry, Lisa Gatando from the Sunday Times. It's for you as well, Mr. Hendricks. You have a long-standing relationship with the ANC. You've been allied with the ANC for quite some time. What does that mean? Because you've raised concerns about the GNU through statements, but what does it mean in terms of your relationship going forward with the ANC, should the ANC go into bed with the DA? And in terms of, yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Newsroom.
Thank you so much. Junior Komalo from Newsroom Africa. I think this one is more for the EFF and the UDM. You being in this position today, isn't it an indictment on your parties basically asking for, making unreasonable requests to the ANC in terms of the positions that you wanted without having the necessary numbers that would give you those certain positions? I'm asking because the EFF wanted finance ministry, the UDM at some point there was reports that they also wanted a cabinet position as well. So is that... No, if it's not true, then you can say that. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's the question. Is it not an indictment to some of these parties for making unreasonable requests? Thank you.
And then we have... did you have your hand up? Did I count you? Number 5. Okay, we'll have you after. Let's go to them. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be very quick. I'm Jason Felix, News 24. I just want to latch onto the question Bulelani asked. My question is simple. What now? It's 9:35. The sitting starts at 10 o'clock. What can the parties, the Progressive Caucus, possibly do to change the mind of the ANC, which they so badly want to? Because, I mean, also, what happens if you can't change?
All right, so that's the situation coming out of Cape Town. I think it's one of the hotels that are close to the Cape Town International Convention Center, where we know a lot of today's business is going to unfold. This conglomerate of organizations under the banner of the Progressive Caucus now asking for the ear of the ANC as part of these ongoing negotiations to be included in this government of national unity. I think it was one of the leaders who mentioned there that if the name suggests that there is unity, they too should be part of whatever emerges, quite frankly, on the other side of today's sitting.